overall, like their pilots are just more gamers than some of these other airlines.
I would
Like,
agree with that.
We call them cowboys.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
agree. They
Yeah.
are. Yep, they're more cowboys.
So out of all the airlines, which airlines pay the best if you're a pilot?
Right now, in the last couple of years, it's Delta's kind of been the number one, and meaning they have high pay scale and they also have high profit sharing.
Really?
I know guys over there at the end of the year.
You get a slice of revenue?
Oh yeah, every airline is starting to do that to compete to attract pilots, but the airline's got to make a bunch of money. Where American is just not making that much money right now. Delta and United are crushing it. And I just texted a couple buddies the other day and I go, hey, I see those profits. They all said, profit share coming up. So yeah, you get a piece of that profit.
So how much can you make as a captain for an airline like Delta?
I mean, Delta's the highest paid. It's wild. So if you work the union contract and you don't just work a schedule you get, and you kind of play the game and you go in there and you go, hey, on my days off, I'm going to look for some double pay trips and trade this. I mean, I know guys making close to $1 million a year as a captain.
$1 million a year?
Working the system.
Damn,
Correct.
$1 million a year as a Delta pilot.
Yeah.
That's insane. And how many days off are you holding a month making $1 million a year?
I mean, so I know my dad wasn't doing quite $1 million. He was crushing it playing the game. And he had a couple months that were like triple his a normal salary pay. And he said, I still got half the month off. It's because he was so fine-tuned into the system of trips, kind of always watching it. And, ooh, this one's going to double pay. And so, I mean, if you can get paid the same to go fly for 30 minutes or 10 hours, which one would you want? So he would look, he'd be like, oh, if I fly to Phoenix, I would stay the night, but then I could waive it and come back to San Diego and get 4 days of pay for one 30-minute flight or an hour of flight. So there's a way to game, and that's one advantage to the airlines where Delta, United, American, Southwest does it. FedEx is a really another high-paying airline as well.
So how much could you make flying, let's say, right seat for Delta or one of these majors?
Right seat, I've heard a couple guys making like $600,000 to $700,000
as a co-pilot.
As a co-pilot, if they're very senior.
Damn.
So what happens is if they don't want to be the captain, because if you're a new captain, you're working the weekends, you're working the crappy trips, not the high-paying stuff. But if you stay as a co-pilot and you move your seniority way up, you would be able to pick every trip you want. So most people, everybody's different, but most people, I want to make as much money as I can in the least amount of work. So that's what allows you to do that as a first officer, as a very senior person.
So someone listening to this podcast right now, if they want to get into the aviation space, they want to become a pilot, how long would it take them to become a pilot and get hired for a company like Delta?
Pretty much a couple of years right now. If you quit your job and you dedicated 6 days a week to training to be a pilot and never stopped, you could get through all your licenses within a year. And then after that, you got to build hours. You could do that in about another year to build your hours. And then you would get on with a regional like SkyWest or Compass or one of the smaller regional airlines. You could potentially go there. I went there for about 18 months and then moved on. So if you're a go-getter and you don't have a family at home and you're just ready to go for it, I mean, you could get in there and start making about 3 years.
3 years. Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty quick.
The major airlines even now are starting pays like $130,000, just your base.
Damn.
So now you can start working the system. And the major airlines are upgrading. You can upgrade in 2.5 years, meaning captain. So if you want to work the crappy shift and the weekends and you don't care, I mean, you're making $300,000 pretty quick with having a lot of days off.
And I heard that right now is actually a pretty good time to get in the industry. A lot of pilots are retiring, and there's a high demand for pilots right now currently. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, I know a bunch of 25-year-olds that are making so much money right now, and I tell them, I hope you guys are invested in real estate because none of us made that kind of money at that age. They're just timed it right. So there's so many retirements. I think every major airline, Delta, United, American, they're retiring 1,000 pilots a year.
Damn.
So they have to hire that or more just to keep up. So what it's doing is there's 16,000 pilots at American. So imagine we've already been losing them for the last couple of years. I mean, American's been hiring, I think, somewhere around 2,000 pilots for the last 3.5, 4 years that I know of. So they're replacing them. But
yeah, so good time, if you're listening to this, good time to become a pilot, good time to get in the industry, but also good time to move up quickly.
Yeah,
so correct. You want to get that $600K right seat or potentially $1 million left seat with